Hi, this is Nick from Tilta. This video functions as a user guide for the BMPCC 4K/6K Flipscreen Modification Assembly Kit. Disclaimer: this video shows the detailed assembly process to the best of our knowledge. Tilta Inc. LLC is not liable or responsible for errors and omissions by users or this manual. Safety tips: please proceed under room temperature. All operating and use instructions should be followed. Please discharge the static electricity frequently during the assembly. This package provides these tools: H2.0 hex key screwdriver, PH0 Phillips screwdriver bit, PH1 Phillips screwdriver bit, T6 screwdriver bit, tweezer, crowbar, 4mm screwdriver handle, 20 centimeters of multi-purpose tape. You will need an air blower, scissors, a utility knife, and a hairdryer. Remove the battery door, and memory cards. There are 2 screws that need to be removed under the label on the bottom. Peel off the label on the bottom. Use the utility knife to peel off a little bit from the corner. Then, slowly remove it, but do not completely peel it off. Cut off about 10 centimeters of the black tape in the package. Peel the black part of the tape and set aside. Keep the yellow non-stick paper side. Remove the label and stick it to the smooth side of the yellow non-stick paper. Remove 2 of the 4 screws that are under the label. Use the PH0 screwdriver bit. Remove the tally light and the bottom cover. Use the pointy part of the utility knife to pull from the crack of the inner side. Place the cover on the non-stick yellow paper. Remove the bottom cover the same way and place the cover on the non-stick yellow paper. Take out the light block. There are 2 T6 screws located under the rubber on the right handle around the corner. To remove the 2 screws inside the handle, we need to peel off the rubber first. Use the crowbar and pry the rubber from the crack slowly. Move gently and avoid damaging the rubber. After prying it off, slowly peel it open until you see the screws. Use the T6 screwdriver bit to remove them one by one. You will need to use the H2.0 hex key screwdriver to remove all 4 screws. Remove the hood. Unscrew the 2 T6 screws here and here. Use the T6 screwdriver bit. Next, unscrew the 2 PH0 screws here and here. Use the PH0 screwdriver bit. Remove the top cover. For the 4K camera, you will need to use the T6 screwdriver to remove 2 screws. Unscrew this T6 screw. There is a T6 screw inside the tally light cover. Unscrew this T6 screw. Now you can separate the camera body case. Gently separate the camera body along the crack where the 2 pieces connect. Apply a little bit of strength and be sure to open just a crack at first. You will see there is a connector on the main board. This needs to be separated first. Pry from the 2 ends of the connector. After separating the connector, now you are free to separate the camera body case. Take a look at the inside structure. The goal of separating the camera body is to reveal the LCD screen. There are 6 screws on the screen locking board. Pull apart all 3 connector latches. Pull out the cables. Peel off the glue on the back button cables. Use a piece of tape to set the cable to the side. Use the PH0 screwdriver bit to remove these 2 screws. This piece of sheet metal is no longer needed. Don't be surprised if your camera does not have it. If that's the case, you only need to remove the 2 screws. Put the 2 screws back to where they were. Use the PH0 screwdriver bit to remove all 6 screws that are holding the metal board. Remove the metal board. Avoid damaging the cables. Put the sheet metal away. It is no longer needed. Next, guard these 2 pads on the back of the LCD screen with tape. Now we are ready to take the screen apart. The 4 edges of the screen are secured by double-sided tape. There's less adhesive glue on the top, right, and bottom surfaces. There is more surface area with glue on the left side containing the circuit board. Peel the display from the right side to the left side. Heat up the screen along the edges. Use the household hairdryer. Do not heat up the screen. While heating up, blow the hairdryer along the plastic edge of the screen. First, heat up the right side, then the top and bottom sides. Therefore, heating up the side with less glue. While heating up, make sure to test the temperature frequently with the back of your hand. Heat up the screen in parts, 1 part at a time. Be patient with the heating process. Blow the heat in one spot for 10 to 20 seconds, then move on to the next spot. This helps accumulate the heat. The higher the temperature, the easier it is to separate the screen. Depending on the room temperature, the removal process will take 10 to 20 minutes. When you feel that it is hot on the back of your hand but the screen is still attached, it's time to separate the screen. Start with the two corners on the right side. A crack will appear if you press the screen gently. Do not apply too much pressure. Also, prevent the screen from bending too much. Use the utility knife. The crack should be just wide enough for the utility knife to open it. Slowly rip open the double-sided adhesive glue. Keep the utility knife parallel to the screen. Do not pry the screen up and down. The heated, double-sided adhesive glue can be separated easily. Avoid damaging the camera and hurting yourself while cutting it open. Cut open the right side that is already heated. Maintain the outside case temperature during this process. If it cools down, we need to continue heating it up until it reaches the proper temperature. Temperature, pressure, angle are the key elements to cut the double-sided adhesive glue on the screen. Now we will continue by heating up the other half of the screen. Blow the hot air along the edge. Frequently check the temperature. Then cut the other double-sided adhesive glue with the utility knife. First, cut the top and bottom, then the widest part of the glue on the left side circuit board. Pay attention to the temperature, pressure, and angle. Because the glue on the left side is wider, you will need to cut it slowly or finish it in multiple passes. Cut half of the width at this time until the screen separates. Remove the screen. Now we can see all the adhesive glue around the screen. There is more space on the left side of the screen. Clean off the remaining glue residue on the screen. This can also be done to remove the glue. Or you can use the sticky side of the adhesive tape. Clean off the remaining glue residue on the frame. Now unscrew the 3 T6 screws on the side interface board. Remove the side interface board. The interface board is no longer needed. Wrap it up and set it aside. Peel off the temporary cover tape. Take out the connecting circuit board of the screen. Disconnect the connector latch. On the back of this circuit board, it comes with double-sided glue tape to stick to the back of the LCD screen. Line up the bottom left of the circuit board and the bottom left of the LCD metal case. Also, make sure the bottom edge is lined up. Now peel off the double-sided glue tape on the back of the circuit board. Make sure to line up the bottom left corners and the bottom edge. Slowly apply pressure to adhere the circuit board. Next, we will connect the cables of the LCD screen and the touch screen. Use the air blower to clean the connections. Gently plug the cable pad, then tighten the latch. Do the same process for the touchscreen cable. It's easier to install if you bend it like this on the right side. Use the crowbar to open the 22-pin connector latch on the top right of the main board. Take out the external control interface and connector. Remove the cable and connect the pad with the control interface connector's connector. Use the air blower to clean the connections. Then connect the control interface connector's pad with the main board's connector. Close the latches. Take out the flip screen package. Separate the package into two pieces. Remove these two screws. Set the carbon fiber plate and rubber plug off to the side. Remove these two screws. Set the carbon fiber plate off to the side. Open the latch. Peel off the temporary cover tape. Use the air blower to clean the connections. Take a black cable. Use the air blower to clean the connections. Plug in both ends. Close the latch. Install the hard drive with the correct settings. Use the air blower to clean the connections. Now we are ready to test it. Connect the camera cable connector. Use the air blower to clean the connections. Connect the USB SSD module. Connect the screen, use the air blower to clean the connections. Close the latch. Install the battery. Turn on the camera. Check the display information and the touchscreen functions. If it displays errors or the touchscreen malfunctions, please check the cables and connect them to the correct plugs. Check if all the buttons are working properly. Test the hard drive. Use the PH0 screwdriver to test the EXT interface. After testing, disconnect the black cable. Remove the USB SSD module. Disconnect the camera cable connector. Remove the SSD drive. Disconnect the black cable. Peel off the double-sided glue tape on the carbon fiber board. Slowly lay it into the screen frame. Gently press down the edges. Peel off the temporary cover tape. Connect the back button's cable and secure them. Tape down the cable. Install the 3 plates on the bottom. The 3 plates are in the screw pack, and the screws are from this original position. Remove these 2 screws. Set the carbon fiber plate and rubber plug off to the side. There is double-sided glue tape installed on the top and bottom of the screen frame. Now install the LCD screen into the frame. Peel it off and it's ready for the screen. Be aware of the orientation. Gently press down on the 2 edges. Avoid applying too much pressure since it may damage the screen. Do not press the center of the screen. Take a black cable and thread it through the rubber plug. Pay attention to the direction where it goes through. Connect one end of the cable to the connector on the back of the LCD screen. Use the air blower to clean the connections. Double check if the rubber plug is installed correctly and insert the screws. Thread the cable through the two carbon fiber boards. Place the screen face down on a soft surface. Connect the carbon fiber board and flip hinge via aligning the screw holes. Fasten all 4 screws. Test the hinge mechanism. Connect it with the connector in the camera body and cover it. Use the air blower to clean the connections. Screw down the cover screws. Now the flip hinge part is complete. Lay the cable along the space by the main board and extend it to the side interface. Place the expanding port in the proper position. Slowly insert the carbon fiber board from the right side. Adjust the socket and bolt hold accordingly. After it's lined up, use the M2x6 Phillips head screw to secure the two sides of the expanding connector. Take an M2x10 Phillips head screw with an M2.5x7 double-ended nylon insert. Place the black nylon insert between the carbon fiber board and the bolt hole. Place the M2x10 Phillips head screw. Tighten down the screws. Cover up the ports. Slowly assemble the body case. Use the crowbar to assist in securing the cable connector. Completely close the body case. Insert the USB SSD module and the SSD drive. Turn on the camera and do the final test. Check the display information and the touchscreen functions. Check the record function and all of the buttons. Turn off the camera after the test is done. Now we will finish the rest of the assembly. Replace the 4 T6 screws. Replace the 2 screws under the rubber grip of the handle. Reinstall the top cover. Reinstall the hood. For the 6K camera, you will need to reinstall the 4 hex key screws. For the 4K camera, you need to install the 2 T6 screws. Reinstall the tally light block and cover it up. Press down and reinstall the cover on the bottom. Replace the 2 screws on the bottom. Place the label back onto its original position. Install the battery door cover. Congratulations, you've successfully completed the flip screen modification. What is even more significant is that you have finished the assembly all by yourself. Thank you to Blackmagic Design for making such an excellent camera. Thank you to Tilta for promoting this modification. Thank you to Pawa Jung, the original designer. Thanks for watching.